Alright, hey guys, remember CCG back with a new video. So with this video, I'm going to be doing a Libromancer deck profile. Now this is post-IFO since Libromancer got new support. Yeah, let's just go straight to the deck profile. So here I run two agents. Agents pretty great because it's going to be your main ways cycling out Doom Broker, since this is your Libromancer that you're typically going to be summoning most of the time. Just because it is the Libromancer that gets you the most utility. But yeah, so two agents. Here we run three fires. Fires are really great. It can easily, just like any of the Libromancer monsters, except for the rituals, they can special summon themselves out by revealing a ritual monster. And yeah, it's pretty convenient because after it's special summon, you can add one Libromancer monster from your deck to your hand. So, great way to just get a +1. And yeah, it's just a great monster to have. Geek Boy is amazing because Geek Boy lets you search out your field spell, and your field spell is your way of searching out not only another card, but it's also your ritual card. So yeah, great to have there. 3 Ash Blossoms, and then the 2 Effect Veilers and the 3 Imperm. Those are for the hand traps. I'm just going to go through those right now just so you know that you have a lot of cards to play with. And yeah, you don't really need many more hand traps besides this, but you guys can like cycle or play with the ratios if you want to. So here I run 3 Diviner of the Herald. Diviner of the Herald is pretty great for this deck just because this deck doesn't really need the normal summon. It's just being able to normal summon with Diviner of the Herald. It's great. It's super easy to go into Bear on the Floor because you can use Diviner of the Herald, send your Herald of the Arc Light, and then when Herald of the Arc Light is sent to the grave, you can use that to search out a ritual monster. And then you can just synchro summon it with the Libromancer Fire to get yourself Bear on the Floor. So pretty great, super easy to go into. And yeah. 2 Effect Veiler, already went over that. Magician's Soul and Illusion of Chaos. So this little engine here is just because you need more ritual monsters. The Libromancer is the only thing that's kind of weak about this archetype, is that they don't really have that many strong Libromancer ritual monsters. So we're gonna be using other ritual monsters that are just other targets in order to be able to special summon our main Libromancer monsters. And Magician's Soul is pretty great just because it's a great way to cycle out your field spell in order to draw a card. Yeah, and that's the same thing with the Illusion of Chaos. It's just going to be there again just as a ritual target and as a way to get your Magician's Soul. And since your normal summons are you don't really need them except for the Divine of the Herald, it's going to be a pretty great target. So Fireburst is going to be like your going second card. You're not going to be summoning it a lot, but it is a good way to just do some damage. Again, Saravis, the Ancient and Ascended. This card just prevents your cards from being targeted, your monsters from being targeted. The main thing is just another ritual monster to have out here. Pretty great, just as a way. It's like basically another sort of hand trap, but just like a way to protect yourself. Yeah. Here we have Ben 10. Ben 10 is going to be your main tribute for Doom Broker. As when you tribute Ben 10, you're going to be able to search out Divine of the Herald, and from there you can just normal summon and easily go into your Bear on the Floor if you have Libromancer Fire out. 3 Pot of Prosperity, because you're going to want to just search out a specific card. Sometimes you just don't get a ritual monster because you can see we're only running 5. But there's a lot of ways to go into those ritual monsters, and Pot of Prosperity is a great way to search it out. Same thing with Preparation of the Rites. It's just a great way search out the ritual monsters that we currently have and kind of just fill whichever one we need. Here we have Called by the Grave. You don't want to deal with hand traps, so that's a great way to deal with that. 3 E-Tellies, because Geek Boy is really great in this deck. It's a level 3 Psychic, so it's perfect. You're just going to be able to use special summon the Geek Boy out. And since it doesn't have to be special summoned by its own effect, in order to trigger its effect to search out a Libromancer spell, you can just use E-Telly to search out your Libromancer First Appearance, which is an amazing field spell that lets you search out another Libromancer monster. And it's a great way to just ritual summon continuously, since it's not once per turn to ritual summon. Here we have 3 Imperms. 3 Imperms, just another way to play with hand traps for your opponent. It's pretty easy to establish a decent board that protects you with hand traps, and it's great just to have these ratios here. Personally, I enjoy having these type of hand traps. So here, Libromancer Intervention and Libromancer Prevented are my choice of traps for the Libromancers. These are going to be searched out through Doom Broker. And Intervention is pretty great. It's an Omni Negate that just bounces back your Libromancer Ritual Monster. And Libromancer Prevented is an interesting card just because it, if you know what card your opponent's going to want to use in order to fusion, sync, or exceed or link, you can lock them out of using that card, and it just puts them into awkward plays. I personally really enjoy having this card. Yeah, and it's pretty easy to cycle these through because with Agent you can just put a Libromancer card in your grave to your hand. Of course, if it's a spell or trap, you're gonna have to put a card back, but it's kind of worth it for especially for the intervention. But yeah, before we go to the extra deck, guys, if you want to support the channel and you want to buy some of these Libromancer cards, but because it is looking like a promising deck, and in the future there might be even more support that helps the deck out quite a bit more. But yeah, if you're thinking about purchasing something from TCG Player, make sure to use the link in the description down below. It helps the channel out, and then you guys can purchase the cards you need. So yeah, let's go straight to the extra deck. So here we have Elder Entity Nest. Again, it's just your Divine of the Herald target in case you need to pop something instead of search out something. The 2 of the Herald of the Arc Light. Again, it's going to be the same targets as Divine of the Herald. Just a great way to search out a ritual monster, and it's another way of changing the level of Diviner of the Herald in order for you to go to Baron the Floor. Ultimate Zoken, since Diviner of the Herald, sometimes you're just gonna have like Libromancer Agent and Diviner of the Herald out, and that's fine. You're gonna be able to just I guess like not really synchro summon him, but special summon Ultimate Zoken by getting rid of those 2 monsters, because Diviner of the Herald changes into a tuner that's above level 5. And yeah, that's a great way to just get Ultimate Zoken. And then since you set traps using Doombroker, you can easily get out a Crystal Wing. Here we have Baron the Floor. Baron the Floor, it's obvious, it's pretty easy to get out. Just Diviner of the Herald, Libromancer Fire, and it's an Omni Negate. Really great card, just super easy to get out here. Revenant's Crocodile Dragon. This is because sometimes you can only get a level 9 out. And, in case you want to just synchro into this, you don't really need Crocodile Dragon, and you can kind of opt out for something else. But I like just having this here as an option. Crystal Wing for your Ultimate Zoken. Shooting Riser Dragon for when you go for the Hulk play. And Photon Strike Bouncer. This is going to be mainly for when you have 2 level 6s, because it does occasionally happen and you just don't want to go, or you can't go for the Ultimate Zoken play just because you don't have Doombroker in your hand or something. But you still want to have a monster effect negate, then this is a great way to go about it. Access Code Talker, pretty, just to finish your opponent. Appaloosa, another great way to just establish some negates. Nightmare Unicorn and IP Masquerena, just a way to bounce your opponent's turn. Selene, since you do have a good amount of spellcasters that you can summon, using Effect Veiler or Magician's Soul. It's just an interesting card to have in here that you might be able to use occasionally. And then Christian Halki Fibrax, of course, pretty self-explanatory here. But yeah, it's a great way to just get Shooting Riser Dragon, and then a simple, since Shooting Riser Dragon can modulate its level, it's pretty easy to just go into Baron the Floor or whatever you choose to go into. But yeah, that's it for the extra deck. Let's go to the side deck. So to the side deck here, I'm just including cards that I just want to mention, and as to why I'm not including them, or why you might want to consider including it. So here we have Libromancer Magic Girl. So this Libromancer Magic Girl, I decided not to include her, just because she does let you ritual summon during your opponent's turn, and the idea is for you to get Mystic Girl out because she serves as an imperm. I just didn't think it was worth it, just because the Libromancer ritual monsters don't really have effects that activate during your opponent's turn, or that really give you any benefit from doing so, besides Mystic Girl. So I just decided to cut out the whole package, but if you guys want to consider it, then here it is. Ghost Ogre, since you can summon Ghost Ogre out using E-Telly, so it is something to consider as a hand trap option. Firestarter, not that great, but of course if you use let me just move this over here, Firestarter and Bonded to get your Fire Burst, you can make Fire Burst pretty indestructible by card effects, and it can't be banished by card effects, and it can't be destroyed by battle. So it could be a decent threat. Just Libromancer Bonded doesn't seem like that great of a ritual card, just because we already have Libromancer first appearance. So decided to just not opt for any of these. Shanging is just another option in case you can't get Baron the Floor, whether you can't afford it or whatever. This is just another a cheaper version to go into, or if you just want to include another level 10 synchro. Herald of the Arc Light, in case you want the 3rd copy, but you don't really need it. Triple Tactic Talents, if you hate hand traps and you want to just include this, you can go for it. Terraforming, if you really want to search out your field spell, which your field spell is really good. The thing is, it is once per turn, and it's relatively easy to go into, just because you do have the 3 E-Tellys and you have the 3 Geek Boys, and you do have the Prod of Prosperity. So it's really easy to search this card out. And there's other ways to get it, indirectly too. You could just use Fire to search out Geek Boy, and then from there get Geek Boy to get first appearance. So it's really easy to get it out, so you don't really need the terraforming, in my opinion. Crossout Designator, in case you want to include some of the more variety of hand traps. Libromancer realized. This card just lets you summon a token that you can use to ritual summon. You don't really need it, so I decided not to use it. And then Displace I think is interesting just because you can take control of one of your opponent's monsters, and if you use a ritual monster, you can take control of it permanently, so it's something to consider. There might be interesting plays to do with that in the future, but right now I think it's just kind of gimmicky for like the whole consistency of the deck. But yeah, I've been enjoying this deck a good amount. If you guys want to see test hands or me do live duels or something, just let me know in the comments down below. And of course, if you want to just purchase any of these cards, or if you want to just purchase any cards on TCG Player and you want to support the channel, make sure to use the link in the description down below. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you next time.